I do have a question for y'all actually before we get into these NBA talks. Just staying on college a little bit. I believe you sent this, Daniel, in the chat. Hypothetically, if Cooper Flag wins the NCAA tournament, I do have a question for y'all actually before we get into these NBA talks. Just staying on college a little bit. You got Cooper Flag, you got Melo, you got Anthony Davis. Between those three, if Cooper Flag does get this national championship, can you call this the best one and done freshman season all time?
No. Here's why. I think Anthony Davis is still going to be. It doesn't matter. I still think he's the best one and done player of all time, strictly because of how many blocks he had in a season. That man had more blocks than programs, like top 10 programs
Mm-hmm.
in the country. And Cooper Flag, I haven't seen him do that. Don't get me wrong. Statistically, Cooper Flag is up there with Carmelo Anthony, up there with Anthony Davis. But I think it's like what AD did in his 1 year in Kentucky is incredible. It was to the point where Joachim yourself, you thought he did 2 years. Like that. Those are the type of stats you can build in 2 seasons, but he built it in 1 season. And guess
Actually,
what? Did you say that, or you
I
said
said
like,
that not to cut you off real quick. I just realized he averaged 4.7 blocks a game.
yeah, he did. He had some with 5 blocks again
It's not even the points because he only averaged 14.2 and 10.4 rebounds. But 4.7 blocks a game with
a
1.4
game.
steals is disgusting. Anyways, continue. My
Yes,
fault.
defensively he was a monster, and
Hmm.
just adding, yeah, he was a defensive monster, and I think also as well, like it makes it a one and done. Also, although he was out of college by then, he played on the Olympic team, on the
Hmm.
2012 Olympic team before he even started an NBA game, and he played okay, like he played solid for like his first Olympics, and he won gold. Like like which 19-year-old can tell you, hey, I had the best collegiate season ever, and I played Olympics all in the span, and then I went to the NBA, all of the span in 1 year. Like no one could say that but him. I think is perfect.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think before we go to Royce, I think what Cooper's doing is great. I think the level of the players he's getting compared to, my only gripe is I think it's a little too early because people are like, oh, prime Kawhi Leonard. I'm like, hey, we gotta see him defensively against some of these guys in the NBA, against some of these guards, against some of these forwards. I think the floor is Brandon Ingram with a huge defensive upside. I will put it like that. His floor is Brandon Ingram with a huge defensive upside.
What do you think his ceiling is?
They were saying Tatum. Tatum's the
I
ceiling.
was gonna I was gonna say Tatum Bankero if he bulked up, but I don't think he's as athletic as Bankero, so I would say Tatum's the ceiling, and that's not a
That's
shock.
that's still a nice
It's a nice. It's a
player too.
nice. It's a nice like because it's kind of like these guys like Brandon Miller, Bankero, like kind of like this 6'9" to 6'11" hybrid forward guard type player. Ever since KD came out of Texas, it's really like a lineage. Like KD, PG. You had Tatum. You got I already said Paul George, but you got Ingram. You got Bankero. You got a lot of these guys who fit into that little niche where it's like okay, you can be like the Cam Thomas of Brandon Ingram's, or you can be the Michael Jordan of Paul George's. And then Kawhi is also in that conversation as well, just because of his handle as a 6'7" guy. Even though he's a shooting forward, still his ability to handle the ball is insane, even at his size. Even despite the injuries, it's kind of funny watching highlights of him this year. It's like he lost some of his athleticism, but that almost made his offensive game better because now he's just going to play at his pace and everything is so much more crisp. I know we talk about SGA in that conversation, but in terms of just handles and economizing motion, I think Kawhi is still in that conversation.
If you want to talk prospects, to say he's one of the best prospects ever, I would say so. Because watching that man play, or he's a kid pretty much, but he plays like a grown man. Like he's NBA
Cool.
ready.
Yeah.
He can do pretty much everything on both ends. He's good with the basketball. He's like 6'8", 6'7".
Yeah, six
Like we were
nine.
saying, he's fit in that mold where very few NBA players can do it. But yeah, I wouldn't put him over Melo because what Melo did to that Syracuse program was insane. Like people
Mm-hmm.
don't realize how insane that was. This was a Syracuse program that was like in the mud. They weren't doing much. They've never won before, and then all of a sudden you get one of the top prospects. A lot of people thought that he was going to pull out, that he was going to like take back his commitment to the hometown Syracuse, and then he
Mm-hmm.
takes them not only to the to the tournament. He takes them all the way with a team that only had one other NBA player on there. So it's like what Melo did. And if you look at the Duke team is way more stacked. Like, if you take Cooper Flagg out of that team, it's still a tournament team. If you take Melo away from that team, they're winning like 2 games. If you take AD off that team, they're winning like 5 games.
I think that's also a great point because AD and Cooper are already at established programs. Obviously, AD did a lot of the establishing with his run, but Kentucky's already a household name. Duke is already a household name. I mean, I think if you ask most people, like, in general, what teams you know for college basketball, first, like, 2-3 teams, they're going to be Duke and Kentucky, and then probably one of the LA teams. Syracuse was like an in-the-mud type of program, and Melo literally did what Bron did in, like, 2007 and took those guys to the finals with you know, Mo Williams and Delonte West and you know, Anderson Varejao. We not used to that. I think it's between Melo and AD still. I think maybe if Zion won it, that's like the only thing I could maybe put on that level because of collegiate Zion, how great he was before the New Orleans food, before the other things in his personal life, before
the courtside people,
before the you know the individuals courtside we won't name, before all of that, Zion coming out of college like, oh, Braun. But yeah, I think it's between Melo and AD, and that's not a diss to Flagg. I mean, Flagg is still, I think, comfortably comfortably 3 or 4. And Kareem wasn't one and done, but obviously, like, that's still probably the best collegiate player of all time.
He was so good they had to ban dunking.
Yeah,
you can't do that no more.